Hello and welcome back to the PowerSwitch, gaming's call and talk radio show. My name is Peter Spezia, and today is July 7th, 2018. This is the 53rd episode of the podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We use Discord as a means to add and drop callers to talk about video games, and switch the power that is found in a typical gaming podcast. You can join our server to participate during recordings at rhymeswithasia.com/call. On today's episode, a Minecraft Nintendo 2DS XL in our headline roundup. Our main topic is the best games of 2018 so far, and then we will get to your calls if you are tuning in live on Discord. Some bit of housekeeping for you. Of course, SMYN Ultimate is back to cover the weekly weekend podcasting source recapping the biggest news in anticipation of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So yes, Show Me Your News back once again. Had 3 episodes so far, episode 4 recording this week. Got another guest lined up. Looking forward to doing that. That'll be tomorrow from when we're recording this. That should be out at the beginning of the week for you there on podcast services at Show Me Your News. And then also, my wife is starting Twitch streaming back up again. So you can follow her on Twitter at sassfactory_, but she'll be broadcasting on Twitch at sass_factory. And so it'll be usually in the afternoons, kind of around 5 p.m.-ish Eastern time, I would guess, on weekdays. I'm not sure how often she's looking forward to doing this, but yeah, definitely follow her there and check that out. I'll probably be making some appearances in the background here and there, so that should be fun. So check that out as well. It was a very slow week of video game news, but we will still cover a few topics here in our headline roundup. The Nintendo 3DS continues to live on, especially with the new 3DS XL and also the new 2DS XL. Over in Japan, though, it's called the new Nintendo 2DS LL, and there are 3 new models announced of that model in particular for the summer over in Japan. One of them had been kind of revealed before, I think, in Europe, but it's in Animal Crossing New Leaf one. Comes bundled with Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo. Another's a brand new, nice red and black Mario Kart 7 model, but one is turning heads here in particular, and it is a green Minecraft creeper themed Nintendo 2DS LL in Japan out this summer. You can only imagine that will be coming stateside eventually. Now, what does this mean? It just means a further partnership. Minecraft, developed by Mojang. Mojang, owned by Microsoft. And it's another partnership between Microsoft and Nintendo. When it develops and comes to the hardware front, we've seen Minecraft Xbox One S's before, but when it comes to Nintendo and the 3DS, 2DS, that kind of lineup, starting with the 2DS here, that shows an increased willingness to work together. Now, I don't want to start speculating for, Smash Brothers and Banjo-Kazooie DLC possibilities for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but, the continued work and progress together, we saw it with the Minecraft commercial, Survive Together, but now with the hardware of the creeper. So keep an eye on that as that develops. Kotaro Uchikoshi is known for developing the Zero Escape series. That's 999, 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. That's Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward and Zero Escape Zero Time Dilemma. So Uchikoshi went to Anime Expo, as he did a couple years ago. A couple years ago, he revealed Zero Time Dilemma there at a panel. But he's working on a new game, and it's called The Somnium Files. And that looks like AI: the Somnium Files. According to the Destructoid article that wrote up about this, quote, formerly known as Project P-Sync, The Somnium Files is a visual novel mystery adventure game set in a technologically advanced Tokyo, starring Kaname Date, a detective with an artificial eye he uses to gather clues as he hunts down a serial killer. He can also look into the memories of witnesses presented as dreamscapes. According to Uchikoshi, the term AI has 3 different meanings in the game. There's AI as an artificial intelligence, I, which is the theme of the game, and I, which is the Japanese word for love. Speaking of words, somnium is Latin for dream, hence all of the dreamscapes. So I'm really excited about this, actually. Uchikoshi, I'm a big fan of his work with the Zero Escape series. Good to see him work on a new project, a new IP in particular. If you couldn't tell, it seems like the character design is being done by Yusuke Kazaki, who's known for his work on No More Heroes, Fire Emblem series. So different sort of character design there compared to the Zero Escape series. No release date announced for the Somnium Files, but it's going to be coming to PS4, to Steam, and also to Nintendo Switch. So, I mean, I'd guess maybe late next year. I don't know. Look for that, though. And play those Zero Escape games if you hadn't yet. I'm a big proponent of those, and give you some time before checking out Uchikoshi's next work. Twitch Prime is giving away free games. As a result, this is kind of the Amazon Prime Day, which is coming up on July 16th, but Amazon owns Twitch, kind of extending it to the month of Twitch. Twitch is trying to been doing the monthly free game rollout for Prime members sort of things, but they're giving out a whole bundle of games over the course of the month. So you got to keep checking back at twitch.tv/Prime, check your Twitch Prime account, and just keep adding those games to your Twitch account. Just kind of stack them up there, and if you want to play them, use that Twitch launcher for your PC. These are PC games at the end of the day. So far as of recording, some of the games that they've been giving away just free are Battle Chef Brigade, Goner, and next up Hero. And then coming up eventually will be Tacoma, Brutal Legend, and Broken Age, among many others. So make sure to keep checking in if you have Twitch Prime, and then just keep developing that library there over at your Twitch Prime account. PlayStation is also having a mid-year sale on their store. I mean, the Steam sale has ended, right? But if you have a PS4, PS3, Vita, get your games digitally there, especially if you have PlayStation Plus. That put a list on our show notes here. There's over 750 games that have deep discounts here. So check that out. See what works for you. It ends July 17th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, so you still have time to jump on some good digital PlayStation game sales. Let us get to our main topic, though. I'd like to talk about the games of the year so far at the halfway point. What are the best games as of this point this year? Now, when people compare 2018 to 2017, it seems as of right now to be really no contest. I mean, we look at 2017 last year, and there was already The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata, Night in the Woods. I mean, those are 5 we mentioned. And that's not even mentioning Resident Evil 7, Biohazard. I mean, 2017, the first half of the year, was an amazing time for games. And yes, there were some games that kind of helped flesh that out a little bit. I mean, Super Mario Odyssey at the end of the year, like that was a big one. But this year, what are the games that we're looking at so far as when we're starting to build that eventual game of the year list, and how do we start to predict that out so far in advance at the halfway point so far? So this year, I'd say number one, going to be tough to beat, but God of War is right up there. God of War with its storytelling, the continual camera shot, the action, the character, the acting. It's really, really well done. And if you have not played that yet, absolutely do so. If you have a PS4, that's going to be up there. And I think it's going to be Breath of the Wild like in a way when we're coming to the end of the year, and people have to look back and what happened this year in games. In mid-April, this game came out, and we will not have to make a point not to forget that at the end of the year. On the indie front, we got to make mention of Celeste. Celeste, highly ranked. I have not played that yet, but it's right now, I'm about to buy it on my Switch. I'm about to go on a business trip in a couple weeks. That'll be my playing game then, so I'm looking forward to doing so. But Celeste getting rave reviews, not only for its storytelling, but its difficult platforming just at the base, but then these ultra tough challenges. Just a pinnacle in a way with the mountain there of indie game development, and really doing a great job there. Gotta also throw a shout out to Monster Hunter World. Really bringing Monster Hunter to PlayStation once again in an open world, big way. This is a game where really it built community around it. If you look a couple years ago, a totally different game, right? But Overwatch Overwatch, a very good, solid game on its own, but it really had the community groundswell and continued interest. And there was, DLC that continued to roll out. Similarly to Capcom and Monster Hunter World, they keep rolling out these little bits of DLC. Here's a new monster. Here's some new armor sets. The multiplayer really seems to drive the activity in Monster Hunter World. Now we'll see with Generations Ultimate when it comes out on Switch in August this year on Switch. If it's the same sort of success, if it's the same sort of community, we'll see with another big Monster Hunter game coming out this year on a different platform entirely. And plus, Monster Hunter World still has yet to come out on PC. That's supposed to be fall, winter this year for them. But Monster Hunter World's another big one where you're talking games of the year and like what has the big industry attention. Like that's another huge one. I would also like to mention Dragon Ball FighterZ. Dragon Ball FighterZ has taken the fighting game community by storm. And when we saw that original trailer at, was it last E3 2017, and it seemed like a dream come true, man, Arc really delivered on this one. Just from the attention to detail to the manga comparisons to how they portrayed certain super attacks in game, the similarities there, just really, really loyal and respectful to the series, and it's really picking up steam in the FGC community. I mean, there was a moment at CEO recently, Community Effort Orlando, where it was a showdown between Goichi and Leffen, and some people are calling it like the fighting game moment of the year, and it happened in Dragon Ball FighterZ. So we'll see when it comes around to EVO, but that's another big game where it's built community around it, was reviewed highly, and it's really been one of the games to talk about at the first half of this year. And so when you round out the 5 here, certainly not as strong of a list as last year, but let's make mention of Far Cry 5, especially in this politically turbulent time in the United States. It was bold to make a game that was talking about a, religious militant cult out in Montana in the United States. First time that a Far Cry was set in the United States. Now, granted, some people would say that for as much as Ubisoft wanted to say about the politics there, they really could have gone harder, that they almost kind of wimped out. They had a really strong start and then it kind of faded away, but still it's good open world Far Cry gameplay. I've only just started it now myself. I'll get to talk about that a little bit later in the show, but it's one of those, it was also reviewed rather well, just overall accepted well. And, yeah, it's not a strong 5, let's say, for 2018 compared to 2017. But God of War and Celeste are easily up there. Monster Hunter World should make a case at year's end. Dragon Ball FighterZ, good community, and then Far Cry 5, just another solid installment. But the real key this year, I think, will be the games that are still to come. Now, 2018 also proposes a sort of interesting dynamic this year when it comes to, we'll start off with our first one here, Red Dead Redemption 2. When we have all sorts of games that are either crammed into the start of October or just say, I'm getting out of there and pushing back to 2019. Maybe we don't have as many games on the back half of 2018 as well because of fear of launching alongside Red Dead Redemption 2. But that's going to be a juggernaut game. I mean, any Rockstar offering is going to be high quality and with a lot of polish. And, waiting on 2010's Red Dead Redemption to get a sequel and a prequel at that, that will be highly anticipated. That will be well done and well made. Marvel's Spider-Man is going to be another one that's up there coming September 7th. PlayStation has a good year of exclusives with God of War and with this one. Showed very well at E3. It seems to be the Spider-Man game of our dreams that we're all hoping. They have the intrigue there with all the different villains coming up, but it seems to get the web slinging right. And that's the most important part. But Spider-Man should absolutely deliver, will probably be in that contention. You got to throw out Bethesda Game Studios as well. And if they do deliver on Fallout 76, that could be another big contender for Game of the Year by year's end. Certainly when it comes to Bethesda, you throw out the idea, well, it could be buggy. It just could not work, especially when they're adding online components. The launch could be a little rough. But, the way that they've handled and put polish on their products lately, I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. Especially with the comparisons between PS4 and Xbox One and PC and how similar those architectures were. I mean, it's not going to be a case like Skyrim where PS3 was so horribly buggy, but it's totally different than what PC was, right, at the time. So I'd be interested to see what that will be. It's not a game that'll be on my radar personally, but that's going to be one that the industry will look out for. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is another one that is still to come. For as well regarded as Origins was last year, Odyssey seems to be taking that foundation and building on it even more, bringing back actual controlled ship mechanics that people wanted. Dynamics in the story. You can choose your protagonist and then choose how they interact in certain story instances. I really enjoyed Origins last year, and I wasn't at first excited about the proposition of saying, well, here's another Assassin's Creed next year. Ancient Greece could have maybe had a better setting, I suppose, but they're taking an already great game and improving on it even more. So definitely want to keep an eye out for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And then I'm going to round out with one that may be a bit of a dark horse here, and it's actually launching this week. It's Octopath Traveler on Nintendo Switch. It's going to be hitting a soft spot for a lot of people in the game industry to have a Super Nintendo-like JRPG, but done in this HD 2D style. Early impressions are coming in. Really, really high reviews. Just early impressions coming in. I mean, it's not scored or anything like that yet, but a lot of people seem to be very high on Octopath Traveler. So if we're talking for a possible game that could sneak in and maybe be considered by the end of the year, I would say that would be one as well. So yeah, we have God of War, you have Celeste, Monster Hunter World, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Far Cry 5 so far this year, but still to come. I'd keep an eye on possible nominees for Game of the Year by year's end. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2, Marvel's Spider-Man, Fallout 76, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Octopath Traveler. Now, some things to note on top of all that. Where is Super Smash Bros.? Well, a December 7th, 2018 release date, if it sticks to that. That would generally be considered outside of the normal Game of the Year proceedings. Yes, that will be my favorite game of 2018 if it launches then. But when we're talking about, the Game Awards, I mean, that's like just after, if not the day of, Jeff Keighley's Game Awards. So it won't be considered for that. Also, things like Life is Strange 2. These episodic games always make it a little difficult. I mean, episode 1 of Life is Strange 2 is going to be, September 27th. So you'll maybe get 2 episodes by year's end. It's not enough to make a decision. Even things like, Batman, The Enemy Within, the Telltale Season 2 of Batman. That may be on my 10 games of the year, my favorites, but I don't think it'll be up there in the critical judgment there. And then you just also got to remember the many games pushed 2019. I mean, the way that people were raving about Resident Evil 2, the remake, it won the Game Critics Award at E3 2018 as Game of Show. And that's January 25th. I mean, so that just sneaks out of the year. We'll have to consider that maybe for next year. So there's a lot to think about when it comes to the games so far of 2018. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how that eventually shapes up. But I wanted to kind of take stock at the halfway point here and see where we are, really. So that's what I have to say. When we come back, we'll get to the callers. We can talk about that main topic, the headlines, games you're playing recently, anything is really on the table. That's all when we come back here on the Power Switch. Welcome back to the Power Switch. Good to have callers again. Of course, this would be the part of the show where you get to call in, have your voice heard over at rhymeswithasia.com/call. That's our Discord channel. So feel free to join the community, and we'll let you know when recordings happen so you can call in. But let's hear what you have to say now. Joining us from Texas, Jesse, welcome back to the Power Switch. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Hasn't it been a while since I've been on here?
It feels like it's been a little bit, but maybe E3 time or something like that. How are you doing? What would you like to talk about today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. Finally got some time to do these things again. It's been a eventful couple weeks. It was like E3 and then DDQ right after. So Yeah, overall, I've been pretty good. Started playing some NES games again on the NES Classic.
Oh yeah, which ones have you gotten to?
I just finished Super Mario Brothers 2, so I'm on Bubble Bobble now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, those
Never
started to
actually-
be sold again. I think what was it, June 29th? So now people are saying like, oh, there's NES classics and Super Nintendo classics that are being sold again. So that is good to see.
Yeah, go out and get one. They're good.
Hmm.
I like them a lot.
So what brings you to the show today? What would you like to talk about?
Well, we're talking about Game of the Year stuff, and I can admit I tend to just wait for things to go on sale most of the time. But as far as like games that are new this year that I bought, I did get Dragon Ball Fighter Z. That's pretty good, and it's definitely up there. The animation is gorgeous, so that might honestly be like the best graphic of the year for me, really. But as far as other things, I mean, like Super Smash Bros. Is obviously like my top pick right now, and I haven't even played it.
Yeah,
It's not Ridley.
That's true. It's taken up a big mind share for sure. I mean, I know I'm doing another podcast based on it, but it does make you wonder. I mean, the original December 3rd release date for Brawl, and they didn't stick to that.
Yeah.
And will that kind of falls outside of the normal Game of the Year talk anyway.
Right. But come on, it's not next year. It's not next spring.
You can announce today that
game's coming out on December 7th.
Yeah. Gotta believe in Sakurai and the team.
I think they've been doing better with that lately, so I want to believe. But I don't know, what was the last big delay Nintendo had for a game?
Oh gosh. Oh, that's a good question. Nothing really comes to mind. I just, the Brawl stuff really sticks in my... the one that does jump out was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. That was supposed to be like a November holiday 2013 game, and they pushed that to February 2014. Otherwise, they've done pretty well. They've kind of buttoned things up, and they are only announcing when things are ready for Switch. So I'd like to see that continue for Smash. But yeah, the back half of the Wii U, that kind of got a little shaky.
Yeah, I just feel like with the Switch, they've gotten so much tighter with their release schedule. They're holding their cards close to their chest. I don't know. I have faith it'll come out soon. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But if I had to place a bet, I would say, yeah, I think it's going to come out by the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was disappointed when I saw that it didn't hit September, and the whole talk of like, you got to launch your online service that you made people wait 18 months for. You got to launch it with Smash. But, for all that we're getting in that game, all the characters coming back, Ridley as a newcomer, it's just so much. It will be the ultimate Smash game. It's like, if I have to wait 3 months, that's okay.
I mean, like 11 years ago, I also remember you being disappointed in Smash Brothers Brawl being announced for December. So
yeah, the more things change, the more they stay the same, right?
Good times. I did get the port of Hyrule Warriors to Switch, so that's pretty good. But again, that's not really like Game of the Year thing. It would be pretty weird if Game of the Year went to a port.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? A lot of people are big on things like Hollow Knight right now. Hollow Knight just came out for Switch. People are playing it there, but the game came out last year. So it's kind of tough when you start talking about ports or remasters or things like that. It reminds me, I have Hyrule Warriors as well sitting in my Switch, and like I definitely want to try and see what was new compared to all the vanilla base game that I played, and all the DLC and all the like there's tons. So that's definitely a great game. Is our Show Me Your News community game of the year in 2014 outside of Smash Brothers, but yeah, I'd like to try that for sure. But you're right. Like it could be as, like best remake remaster of the year. Shadow of the Colossus could be up there as well. That's Blue Point in February. But yeah, it's tough to say, put that as game of the year, right?
Yeah. Again, I haven't played that much this year. I've been actually waiting for the Steam sale this whole time. So really it's just been like a few Switch games I've gotten and Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Yeah.
I know that there's Super Mario Party coming out later this year, so I'm interested in that one.
Yeah, that's another possible one. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be good games. Battlefield 5 should be good. I won't doubt that Call of Duty Black Ops 4 will be good, but they usually don't get put up there in the best games of the year, so to say.
Yeah, I tend to be a little weird with what I play, mostly because like I'm either playing stuff that's on the Switch or something on the PC that's been out for a year and I could get for a discount.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot that's good out there, and I look forward to seeing what other people have to say about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So whether it's you're here in the comments, let us know what you think you're looking forward to for the rest of the year, or big contenders this year. We'd love to hear feedback on this. It's always interesting to kind of look at this midpoint here and then kind of prognosticate out through the rest of the year. And we can always look back and see how right we may or may not have been. I remember looking at last year's episode and I kind of called out Sonic Mania and Cuphead. I kind of threw it as a dark horse candidate, having no idea how well it'd be received. And it turns out it was. I mean, it was winning some certain awards at the Game Awards. So like that was good to see. So I hope good things are in store for Octopath Traveler in a similar vein there. Well, Jesse, thanks so much for calling. And it's good to have a caller on the show. We've had a couple episodes here where it's been a little dry after the E3 hype here, but good to have you call in. Anything you'd like to plug in particular?
I'm just going to say I'm going to plug Pokemon Trading Card Game Online, because that's something I've been getting back into lately.
Oh, yeah, huh?
When I was younger, I'd always wanted like a new sequel to the Pokemon Trading Card Game Boy game.
Absolutely.
And this is like the closest thing I've gotten to it. It's a way for me to play Pokemon trading cards from my house without having to meet up with someone, using cards I don't have to buy, although you definitely get further if you do buy things, because it's that kind of system. And honestly, I feel like this game should be on the Switch.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, and that needs a Switch port for sure. I mean, way back in the day, I'm right there with you. I love the original trading card game on Game Boy. And, they did make a sequel, as I'm sure you probably know. But for those that don't, like, it was one in Japan, and it featured the Rocket line of cards. And it's like, that would have been so good. But man,
why wouldn't they do that? That's just so weird.
It's leaving money on the table for sure. But yeah, definitely check that online, and let's hope for a Switch port. That sounds fantastic.
Well, yeah, I mean, we get Pokemon Blocky game on Switch.
Yeah, right. Conquest and mobile and things like that. No, that's a very good point. Well, Jesse, thanks so much for calling in, and we'll talk soon, all right?
Yeah, good to hear you again.
All right, great to hear live caller feedback in there. Let's get to what I'm playing. It's a real quick hit, but GameStop had a game sale going on where it was a buy two, get one pre-owned free, and then they have their big summer sale going on. There was one day that kind of overlapped as it was running out, so stopped by, checked things out, and then I didn't end up getting any pre-owned games because the games I wanted were on sale new, and so for $30, I picked up Monster Hunter World for PS4. For $40, I picked up Far Cry 5 on PS4. I'm looking at these games, the best games of the year. I'm like, where are gaps in my 2018 library? Well, those are two big ones right there. Of course, the other being Celeste. I'll be getting that soon as I mentioned at the top of the show on Switch. Use that as my playing game for work travel. But starting Far Cry 5 on PS4, got maybe only 45 minutes, an hour into it, right? Just kind of setting up the establishment of the characters and whatnot. I literally just picked up the map in Dutch's kind of bunker there. So really not far at all. Playing it through PS4 remote play, again with, the dog and things like this. Not ideal, especially in a fast-paced first-person shooter thing. And, playing Life is Strange, going back on PS4 and doing that through remote play, had no issues with lag or freezing video and things like that, like I did with remote playing Detroit Become Human. Definitely some issues like that, freezing for 3 to 5 seconds. It's like, oh God, gotta pause and wait for that to pass. So it's not ideal, but I like the setup that it's presenting in front of me, and I'd like to play more, but hopefully I'll get some more time to do that. But yeah, that's what I am playing. As far as games that are out this week, it's a pretty stringent lineup, but a big end of the week here. On Thursday, July 12th, Icons Combat Arena comes to Steam Early Access on PC. This is by Wave Dash Games. They are old, guard of Smashboards.com. Longtime Smash fans, made their own game studio, making their own platform fighter. It's been in a beta for the last few weeks. A lot of people saying very good things about it. I'm looking forward to mentioning it and maybe even talking to one of the head developers on Show Me Your News coming up over the next couple of weeks. So look for that there, but check out the PC Early Access on Thursday, July 12th for Icons Combat Arena. Also, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker comes to Nintendo Switch and Nintendo 3DS on Friday, July 13th. People say it is good to have that on Switch, especially with, the new levels based on Super Mario Odyssey, things like that. But a lot of people are saying the real remarkable thing about Captain Toad is that it's working as well as it is on 3DS. So go figure there. I would still say Switch is the best way to play, of course. Good game on Wii U. Glad to see that coming over and giving extra life. It's a fun little puzzle platformer kind of game there for Captain Toad. Give that one a shot, especially when it's at a discount price, not the full $60. And then also Octopath Traveler, July 13th. That's the Friday on Nintendo Switch. Really, really excited and interested to see how reviews pan out for that. Not one that I'm pre-ordering or picking up yet, but for those that are really excited about the classic JRPG kind of reimagined for this new generation. Very excited for those people. So check that one out as well. And that'll do it for this episode of the Power Switch. We are hosted by rhymeswithasia.com, and we're on YouTube and Twitch at rhymeswithasia. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Power Switch. I am at Pete Speakeasy. You can email us any questions, concerns, comments, or opportunities at powerswitchpod@gmail.com. You can subscribe to The Power Switch on podcast services such as Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. And if you could be so kind as to leave a review, that would really help as well. But most importantly, to participate in future episodes, you should join our community on Discord by visiting rhymeswithasia.com/call. It's a small but growing community, and now is the perfect time to have your voice heard on this podcast. If you want a YouTube video to watch, check out Mega64. They did their Dragon Ball Z Cell Saga live action in 5 minutes. They did this with Frieza and the Frieza Saga a while back, but now they did the Cell arc. Not only is it fantastic, it did really well as far as their numbers go, but I'm particularly interested always when they do behind the scenes videos, because they are such clever filmmakers, and especially when you're doing these kind of stunts to recreate Dragon Ball Z in live action on a budget. It's fascinating what they do. So check out the show notes for their Cell Saga live action behind the scenes for Mega 64 there. So yeah, it's been another interesting week on the gaming front. Nothing too big happening, but we'll see as the summer progresses and we start to eventually get into August. I mean, the later we get into July, the closer we'll get to EVO. And Smash rumors are floating around, so check out this show. Check out Show Me Your News over at showmeyournews.com/podcast. Good to be back in this kind of podcasting flow, I think, for myself. So stay tuned to our Discord channel as everything develops, and regardless whether it's live or on your own time, I look forward to you joining us for our next episode. With that, I am Peter Spezia. Until next time, switch up, call in, game on.